Well, gee willikers, it's a robot Sean.
More 3.14159.
All right, Mr. Robot, disengage.
Welcome to the Pi Day podcast.
Yay, Pi Day.
Yay,
Featuring Kermit.
Surprisingly, that wasn't the lamest thing we've done all day.
But welcome to the double shot of awesome. Oh, I can't talk today.
The double shot of autumn. Where winter's right around the corner every day in Canada.
It's not even spring and I'm already screwing that one up. So welcome back to another week of the double shot of awesome podcast. Yeah, I got that one right.
Good for you, Sean.
We're all back this week. Nobody's missing out, so that's always a plus.
Yay. And I guess we should start off with asking, do you donate when the cashier asks you to donate?
Depends on what the cause is for.
Okay, well, that was a serious answer.
Honestly, generally no, unless if it's something that I would like to donate to. So if I'm at Sport Check and they say, would you like to donate to kids playing sports? I'll be like, yeah, you know. As a kid, I played a lot of sports, and I think it would definitely be nice for kids who can't afford to play organized sports to have, you know, to donate to a cause like that, then yes. But if it's, you know, oh, would you like to donate to
Ronald McDonald House?
Ronald? What? No, I don't know.
You can't name something here and not feel like an asshole.
Yeah, I can't think of a charity.
I would donate to the cancer fund.
I was trying to pick one that there would be such widespread coverage of that, right? Like, there's 1,000 McDonald's across, you know, the plains of Canada, right?
Hi there, would you like to support Save the Slaughterhouses?
There you go. Yes. No, thank you. I'm right.
Warn you, asshole. Save the slaughterhouses.
Or like,
You're going to put those farmers out of work.
Think of all the cows who will live.
and all
You
the
really want
steaks
that?
you won't eat.
I actually think that it depends on what kind of cashier is asking you. So if I'm at like a local gas station, for example, and they have a jar and it says, you know, because I actually saw this week, they had a jar and it said, this is to raise money for a family, so-and-so's family. Their house burnt down. They're trying to go through insurance. They have to replace clothes and like valuables and stuff like that. And it's localized. And I think that I would be much more willing to give money to that charitable foundation as opposed to when I walk into a major supermarket or conglomerate store like a Walmart or a Superstore or a Target or a Sport Check, and they say the cashier, who's literally just about old enough to work at the job and be able to count so that they can give me the right change back. They're like, do you want to donate $2 to the so-and-so foundation? And for that, like, no, I don't want to, because my donation isn't coming from me. It's not personal. Like, I don't have any of that personal connection. And the company that is asking and getting my $2 to be donated, it's actually coming off of their tax revenues, right? Because it's considered like making a donation through that corporation. So I disagree with it 100% for that kind of thing.
So you say nay.
But I also say yay.
You say yay and nay. Okay.
For me, it all depends on how I'm paying. So if I'm using debit or credit, I almost never donate, because then I'm affecting my immediate bank account. Whereas if I'm paying in cash and it's like $1 or $2, I'm not breaking the bank. You know what I mean? It's like I can afford to give up that $1, $2, because if I have cash in my pocket, I'm probably spending it anyway. I don't know. That's just how I roll with it.
So I feel like the asshole here. I don't. I never do.
Is there a particular reason that you're asking the question, or?
Well, it was just on there. I just read the forms.
When did this happen most recently to you, Sean?
When did I donate, or when did I not donate?
No, when did you get asked the question if you were wanting to donate? Because we already established that you don't donate, so...
I've been asked, past week I've probably been asked 3 times.
3 times. Do you find it frustrating?
It is. It's extremely frustrating. One of the worst examples I always use for these scenarios is if I go to a place that's trying to pull in money based on an event that just happened. Like, we had a kid in the city, he was biking on the road alone and somebody hit him with his truck, and now there's a bunch of people around the city that are gathering up donations just for an organization based around this kid's condition, because he had autism, something like that. And I thought that was kind of a little weird. Like, you're waiting for this kid to get hit to start taking the money for these donations. And then some of them are only yearly events, which they'll say like, okay, you can donate in this time frame, we'll give the money into there. The way I donate is always based on the event at hand. Like the Ronald McDonald Foundation has a golf charity tournament that I always try and go into. It's a sponsored event. I always try and donate a couple $100. I get to go play golf for the day. That's a win-win for me. It's not just me throwing money out. And even then, I think we raised more money than has ever been raised at a charity golf tournament in this city. So that was a pretty good feeling. And I got a free golf club.
So you're looking to get tangible items from your money.
So you want to buy things, but have the philanthropic feeling that you're donating.
See, and that's where they try to get you at the cash register, right? Because they're just asking, well, $2 more. $2 more isn't even the tax on whatever it is that you're buying, right? So if you can give $2, that's where people will contrary to that, right? Still try to feel the same way. But I still disagree with it. I don't think that we need to. I don't think that I personally need to be making the tax write-offs for that big superstore kind of thing.
I would rather find a donation or a charity that I find appealing and donate to them on my own accord, not because someone came out and begged me for it.
This is something that I do. Smile.amazon.com. You can go there, and anytime you order something from Amazon, well, most things, not everything is eligible. Amazon will donate 1% of whatever you're paying towards the charity of your choice. And so almost 2 years ago now, I guess a year and a half, I went on a Vita trip. So it was an outreach trip to Nicaragua and Costa Rica. And so whenever I buy things from Amazon.com, I will buy it through smile.amazon.com, supporting Vita. And so a very small percentage of my purchases go towards that company that I support. And it's nice because it's sort of similar, because like you're saying, I'm choosing to support this group here, but also really they get such a small amount of your purchase. You're kind of trying to donate in a group, so you're hoping that other people like yourself are doing that as well to make a difference. Now the problem with things like that, I've actually read a few articles on it, are that people see donations actually decrease. So because let's say if in a year's time I expect to donate about $100, let's just say for an example, and that gives me my feeling that, all right, I feel like I've done something productive. I'm done for the year, philanthropically wise, right? Donation wise.
That's a lot of online shopping, Warren.
Well, that's exactly it. If you're doing online shopping, you get that feeling, but you're not donating nearly $100. And so what studies have seen is that people will actually donate less, but whenever they do online shopping like that. And so charities don't see as much income because people are still getting that feel-good feeling, but not really donating kind of thing. So it's an interesting...
And that's probably why we still see events and we still see different types of organized things, fundraisers essentially, like your charity golf tournament, Sean, that need to be there in order to bring in larger sums of money, because until people are, slapped in the face with it, sometimes it just back of the mind kind of thing, right? It's not like we can all be Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark and just give millions of dollars freely to whatever charity that they want to create and then get all the tax write-offs.
I like where your head's at.
What a fantastic segue into a question I had for you guys.
Is it the best form of charity is bank robbing?
No. But who would win in a fight, Batman or Iron Man? Because I was thinking the two of them are pretty much identical. They're both geniuses. They're both very rich. They're both essentially superheroes because of their smarts and or money combined to give them superpowers or whatever you might
the equivalent of other superheroes.
Yes. So
or if you're Smiley, Batman's not a superhero at all.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, our friend thinks Batman is not a superhero. Actually,
I'm
I hate
sure
to say
there are a lot
I
of
agree
people.
with them.
There are a lot of
I
people.
disagree.
He's
I
not a
completely
superhero.
disagree. Hey, what do you find in comic books? Superheroes. Hey, what's Batman in? Comic books.
Are you saying Richie Rich is a superhero? Because he's in a comic book. So is Casper.
What about Archie?
Archie's totally a superhero.
Archie teamed up with the Punisher. Your argument is
Okay,
stupid.
what about Jughead?
He's a sport character.
Now, saying he's in a
Jughead
comic book
is
does
on
not make him a
spin-off, I think.
superhero.
An action comic book.
And so what? Is the Punisher a
So
superhero?
what?
Okay,
what?
anyways, you guys.
Is the summer
who would win in a fight?
Batman?
Batman?
Batman.
Why
Batman's
not? Why?
taking down Superman.
Yeah.
How many people can take down Superman?
I guess, yeah.
Batman's smarter than everybody. I just feel-
Yeah, like that's how I would lean as well. Just because he is the best detective in the world. He has a backup plan to kill all heroes, including himself, in the event that they go rogue, kind of thing.
So his paranoia is what saves him in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for those reasons, I feel like Batman would win as well. But then there's also the actual tangible, alright, if Iron Man could get one well-placed shot from his hand cannon, that'd kill Batman, you know?
I think if Iron Man woke up one day and said, "I'm gonna go kill Batman today," and just did it, he would win because Batman would have no preconceived notions of Iron Man
That's
coming to kill him.
true.
But if it was a planned attack, no, Batman would have already known about it and be
Yeah,
prepared.
if Batman's prepared, then yeah,
So,
I'd say Batman.
As long as Iron Man doesn't email Batman saying, "Hey, I'm coming to kill you today."
Hey Bruce,
Yo,
come
bro.
over.
But,
I'm coming.
but then again, Tony Stark could also just send an army of automatized Iron Men to attack him,
And then
right?
Batman would have like an
An
E-pulse
EMP.
and then just kill everything.
One EMP would take away everything that Tony Stark has.
I
That's
feel like the
interesting.
EMP has already been addressed by Iron Man.
Yeah,
I'm no
I feel like-
comic expert.
But then,
Appreciate
then,
the interest.
then Batman would have like some other destructive device because he's Batman and
You know what this
Wayne
question for?
Tech Enterprises.
This question
Batman.
is for the other local podcast.
Yeah, there's another podcast in our area that does comic book related podcasts, and yeah, they would probably answer this a lot better.
Maybe I'll reach out to them and ask them. But anyway,
But
kind of.
let's be honest here, they're not superheroes.
So wait, is Punisher a superhero then?
No,
He's an anti-hero.
he's not a
He's
superhero.
a
though.
vigilante superhero.
He's not a superhero.
He's a superhero police.
What's his superpower?
Somebody's got to control the
Super
vigilantes.
badassism.
It's like a vigilante.
You don't see other
vigilante.
people walking around town with skulls
Yes, I do.
on their
In this
shirts
city, I
and like
definitely do.
guns. Skulls and guns and a sweet ass headband sometimes.
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 He's
Depends
not
on
a
how he's
superhero.
feeling. If it's a Thursday, he's gonna rock it. If it's not, well, maybe he won't.
Sean just gets super jealous of other people's skull t-shirts because he's rocking around in Ralph Wiggum t-shirts. I can
Sad-
count a potato.
The sad part is you're not lying.
I like wall candy.
Well, I mean, the other thing that's kind of cool about those superheroes is they can, or those two characters, like the Tony Stark and the Batman, Bruce Wayne. Just one other thing is, I think that it kind of has to be considered if we're talking about representations of these characters, because if it's, let's say Christian Bale Batman versus Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. I think that those kind of things can be taken into play. But where I was going with that is that they can both afford the new iWatch, Apple Watch.
Well, that's where you were trying to go.
That's
to.
what I was trying to go for, but I just
That was like
Man,
that was early Sean tumble down the hill bad.
Yowza. What a terrible.
I don't think
terrible.
If we have a bad segue, I don't think it's me anymore. That's the moment we're gonna.
that's like the worst one probably.
That is
yeah.
terrible.
I reached way too hard for that.
Like you're in a room full of friends and you are like beet red right now.
It happens.
So, Chris, you want to talk about an Apple Watch, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Chris, what's the Apple Watch?
It's a stupid piece of technology that's way overpriced, and I can't believe that they're trying to sell them for $22,000 Canadian. It's ridiculous. I was talking about it with you guys actually, and it's kind of ridiculous that you can, I don't know, put a mortgage payment down on a house. You can buy a car.
Okay,
pay
let's
off
just
student loan.
let's be fair before we get too far into this. That watch is not meant for the average person. That version of the watch is meant for the guy who has too much money and likes to throw it in a fireplace for fun.
It's a status purchase.
It is.
It's exactly what it is, and I don't like it.
Do you see how much these watches are costing, like, out of the gate?
No.
So for those of you who don't know, the Apple Watch is a smartwatch, and it's like a Moto 360 or a Pebble. It's basically a piece of wearable technology that gives you extra interaction.
So what watch are
Features.
you wearing right now?
I'm wearing a Moto 360.
And how is it superior to the
It's
watch?
half the cost, and it does everything that the Apple Watch does.
Yeah, but the Apple Watch has an Apple logo on it, so...
Except it doesn't also have like a BlackBerry click wheel on the side. I don't know.
True.
And when I look at the time, it's actually a watch face, not just a bunch of little app icons.
So let's play a little game here. Alex, you're not huge into technology.
Well,
Not huge. You are fully aware of technology out today.
I'm aware of its existence. I don't dive too deep and need to know every detail about it.
Yeah, so let's just say you wanted to go out and buy a smartwatch. What would you spend on average?
I would go out and buy a regular watch because watches are for telling time, Sean.
Okay, let's go back to the question. If you wanted to go buy a smartwatch, what would you actually pay for a smartwatch? That could
I would
show
have to
you text
learn
messages?
about admissions to psychiatric wards because I can't understand why someone would own one.
Okay, well that went nowhere.
I think he's
Sell me a
answering-
smartwatch. Why would I want one?
Have you ever been outside shoveling the snow, and then your phone starts buzzing, and you want to know who it is, but you don't want to reach into your pocket and find out because it's in your winter jacket? I look at my watch to see who's calling. I can decide whether or not I want to pick up the phone.
See? Practicality. Now I could understand why I'd want one.
Okay.
You're working outside chopping some wood because it needs to be done.
Because he's
it
a
ma-
man.
Your
Those
phone
actions
starts
match that of my beard.
absolutely, and your phone starts buzzing because it was on silent because you were working all day and you forgot to take it off silent, or vibrate, I guess, because it's buzzing. And you're expecting a message from somebody about something going on that day, but you're not sure if it's the message from the person or if it's
This is
just
a really
another
diluted example.
random email that's just coming in, or somebody posting in a stupid group chat, and you want to know what it is, whether it's the person that you're waiting for or if it's something that's nonsensical. You can look at your wristwatch or your smartwatch and be like, yeah,
Or
yeah.
your rich wristwatch.
Your
Yeah,
rich-
the
your rich-
$13,000 Apple
your rich
iWatch.
watch.
You can see who it is and what it is, and if you need to deal with it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you can look to see your messages. Can it do anything else?
You ever wanted a calculator but didn't want to pull out a calculator? It can be on the watch. At least on mine it can. If you want to
Use my
track
head.
your heart rate activity, it can be on the watch. If you're into fitness and that kind of thing, so while you're chopping wood,
That's
you want to make
kind
sure
of
that
neat. I mean, like
you
if
know.
you go for a run or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it comparable to like those Nike smart bands?
yes, yes. I think I don't know. I don't use that feature.
say no.
Pedometers.
Say no in
No.
this situation because we all know how Alex feels about them.
I don't know. I'm
Girl
asking.
repellents. Remember you refer to them as girl repellents.
Yeah, but you weren't wearing a Nike smart band or
Oh,
whatever.
pardon me.
You
It
were
has-
wearing like
It
those.
has to be branded.
Well, no. That's not like those are specifically for tracking your running and shit like that.
So
Yes.
you're saying could this
Yes.
thing do the tracking? Can it tell you the time? Can it?
That's all my question was.
Yes.
The fact that you wear girl repellent worn is your business.
No, he's got a Live Strong band on. That's yeah. Never
That's
mind.
him supporting cancer. Back off.
Yeah, man. I've been wearing this for years.
What happened to your little smart thingy that we had?
Well, he started taking
I mean-
steroids because he supports cancer so hard and it ripped.
I'm gonna sell it. I just haven't gotten around to doing it.
Oh, okay.
Can try to sell it for like what, $20?
$50. It's a $100 thing. So
Yeah, I guess so.
Was the Misfit?
Misfit Shine.
Yeah, we both have
Definitely
one.
wasn't
He's going to
Misfit.
sell it to an international playboy because he needs to dial back.
So anyway, if you're gonna buy a smartwatch, how much would you drop? Probably not too much money.
Me, I'd probably, I don't know.
If I said 200, would that be a nice range?
200 is appropriate.
Yeah.
I could see spending $200 for something like that. And for me, that would be serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And you know what? $200 is very close to what I wanted to pay for my watch. This one cost me about $50 more.
yeah.
The Apple Watch, like the introductory model, $500.
Yeah, that's
It's ridiculous.
well beyond what I'd be willing to
That's
pay.
more than an Xbox One or PS4. Not to.
I would much
leave you
rather
out.
have an Xbox than have an Apple Watch.
The initial start price for any Apple smartwatch is $349.
American.
Yeah.
American.
Okay, let's put it into perspective then. I just bought hockey skates this week, and they're like wearing an Xbox One on one foot and a PS4 on the other.
So they're awkward and don't match.
What was
They're
it? Put in the
expensive,
group
is
chat.
what I mean.
First thing someone says, so they're non-compatible?
Yeah, so they're expensive, is what I mean. So I think when it comes down to paying for something that you want and you know that you're going to get use out of, and something something that you know that you want and something that you know you're going to get use out of, I personally don't mind spending a little extra because I know that these skates are going to last me a long time.
But this is technology. This is going to be outdated by the end of the year.
Yeah, I
think
guess
this-
that's a good point too. Technology, it's hard to argue is gonna last you a while. You're right.
Actually, there is something that Apple's doing right in the past little while, and I'm really happy they're doing it. Have you heard anything about USB-C?
No.
It's a universal serial bus hub that's going to be universal, truly
Oh, yeah,
universal
yeah,
with
yeah,
every
yeah.
company, because it's being adapted by Samsung, by Google, by Apple. So we're
I
finally
don't
going
think
to have.
Apple's gonna go for that.
They've said it.
Really
Yeah,
USB-C?
USB-C.
interesting.
It's
It's also
supposed to be-
reversible,
It's
like
reversible.
like the 5-pin adapter that the new iPhones have.
Now, here's the best part of it too. It can support streaming 4K video through it, which means it can actually replace HDMI in the future.
Sweet.
So that's gonna be a big deal. But the bigger one is that Macs are gonna support it.
Yeah, that is pretty big. If we can have a universal actual connector, that'd be pretty sweet.
So to the average person, that just means you don't have to go around saying, "Well, I have an iPhone 5C. What kind of cable do I need to buy for that?" It's going to be you walk into a store, say, "I need a charger," and you get the cable.
I need a
No
cell
longer
phone
will you have to
charger.
lug around a box full of cables and cords.
Exactly. Like even right
no,
now, you have to-
no. We're gonna keep the box and cables and cords because I'm gonna have all that old technology still, and I'm gonna need each one of those cables.
But even right now, like Alex, you had to plug your phone in and charge it up.
Sure did.
And as of right now, none of us could have helped you out. You had to bring your own cable with
You're
you.
the only one with your cable.
So now it's going to be, can I borrow your charger cable? Doesn't matter what kind of phone you have. Yeah, sure, use it. That's a big deal. That's never
Yeah, sure.
really
I've got
happened.
4 of them somewhere in my house laying around in different spots because so many different devices use it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got cables everywhere.
Because we haven't figured out to have our devices, last 5 days on a charge, right? So
I'm up to 3.
I've
Good for
done
you.
3 too.
I've done like 2.5, 2. I watched a lot of media on mine though.
That'll burn you down, no question there.
So when are they implementing this USB-C? When are we hoping that it's being implemented?
They're still working on it, but apparently the new MacBooks that are coming out actually do support it.
Interesting.
Wasn't there
Because it
like a
hasn't even
big
been-
rage outlash about that though? Because there's no actual USB ports.
Oh, that's
on
on the new.
The newest MacBook that came out,
I think there's only 2 plugins. One plugin.
they have one USB plug-in for an entire laptop.
and that's also your charger as well.
And if you have a mouse that you want to use,
So
there's
you
your
can't
mouse.
you can't charge it and you can't mouse it at the same time.
And then if you want to put like a video or picture onto your computer, well, you can't use the mouse for it. I guess you can buy like a hub to give you more, but that's not the point.
Yeah, why didn't they just give you more to? Oh, probably for thinness and stupid. shit like
I've
that.
never felt the need to use a mouse with my laptop. I have a MacBook Pro from like 2008.
See, I'm the opposite. I've got
I just cranked up the sensitivity on my mouse, and it's just like I move an inch and it's across my screen. I've got Epic Touch to my computer now.
See, I'm the opposite. I can't use a touchpad. I have to use a mouse.
But you also would never buy a Mac.
Yeah, but if I bought a laptop
Yeah.
and even my Asus Transformer Prime, I got the laptop attachment. I hate using that little trackpad. I just use a touchscreen instead, but still, it's
See, I'm weird. I like using a little trackball in the middle of your
Oh,
keyboard.
you do too on the ThinkPads.
The ThinkPads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
My
guys
Dell
are
has
weird.
that, and I actually really enjoy using that.
That was the first kind of mouse that I ever used on a computer. I can remember when my grandmother, because she had money, bought her first computer, and it was probably running Windows 95, and I'm pretty sure it was like a ThinkPad, because she opened it up, and I was like, what do you do? She's like, oh, you move the mouse, and the mouse was like this little green. It wasn't even red then.
It wasn't even red.
It
at
was
that
it was
point.
bright green, and you toggled it around, and
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's just this little plastic circular nub. It's not even. It's like half the size of a penny. Sits in the middle of your keyboard, and you just move it around. It hardly moves, but you push it to either direction, and it just controls the cursor on your screen
it's like a joystick would be the best description.
on a very, very miniature scale. It's just this little nubby plastic thing. It doesn't come out from your keys at all. It just you move that around, and it's great. I don't know. I really like using it personally.
the second you started talking about that, I just imagine me having to pull apart my mouse to clean all the gunk out of the wheel.
That's gross.
Remember that?
Remember those mice that had they were.
Wait, no, I think it's mouses.
I remember the
Mouses?
mouses.
I think
Do
it's
you remember the
actually
mouses that were being sold?
Like,
And I
I'm
always
being
wanted.
serious. Like multiple
Like
mouses
multiple-
to control
like
computers.
the XY coordinate device on a computer is
Yes.
called mouses.
I think it is. I don't think it's
I'm
mice.
gonna
No, it's
disagree.
mice. I'm super dumb. Never mind.
I was-
It's definitely mice. Okay, continue.
I was gonna sit here and just let that carry
I
on.
thought it was a
See-
joke. I thought we were making fun of Chris for a second there.
I didn't say mouses, did I? I didn't mean
Okay,
to.
guys.
Yeah, but you corrected yourself
My
to
bad.
mice, and
And then Warren
My
said, no,
bad.
it's mouses.
go back to math. Anyway, Keach, you were saying.
I was just wondering if you guys remembered those mice that I can remember like my secretary having it in my grade school.
Oh,
They had
the
a
little red ball.
They had a red ball, and you could like
Yes.
just
use your
twirl it
thumb.
around.
Yeah.
Use your thumb to control it, I think, right?
Oh, really?
No, you can use the whole palm. You're thinking the big ball mouses.
Oh, yeah, like a,
I'm thinking about ones
like a
that are about the
crystal
size
ball.
of like a bearing or like an alley or something.
Yeah. Those ones
They were
are
red.
sweet. I actually almost
Yeah.
looked at buying
Not
them
one that you
recently.
like manhandle with.
No,
your
that's what
palms.
you're supposed to use your palm in the middle
No,
of it.
some of them are designed actually
For just your
ergonomically
thumb,
for your
yeah.
hand.
Oh, okay.
Because you
Yeah.
can still click,
That's
and then you
different.
use your thumb to control the
Oh,
ball.
okay. I've only
Which
seen
turned
the
out
bigger
being
ones.
terrible for your thumb joint, by the way.
Really?
No, I wouldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Oh, that makes sense, actually. They seem comfortable and nice,
Yeah.
but I guess moving your whole arm
It,
is...
left and right is fine, right? But it's bringing it back.
Yeah.
That's the strain right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my thumb always hurts when I rip off chicken skin when I'm using the strain of that. But
Yeah, it's
He's getting-
entirely the same movements.
Man.
Transferable skills right there.
I can use a computer so I can clearly peel chicken.
The human body is really cool, though. I took a nice chunk out of my finger 2 weeks ago, and it did pretty. Like it messed it up pretty good. Like a cut on my finger actually made my wrist hurt. So when I cut it, I saw the tendon. Anyway, it's healing up quite nicely now. But it's really cool that your body knows how to heal back. It doesn't heal into this ginormous blob of nothing, right? It heals back into the same place that it was.
Well, it depends on where you get hurt, right? You get calcium buildup on a bone.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. But I'm talking like more like the superficial wound.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is like I took a good chunk out of my finger.
how did you do that?
I was playing flag football. And so I ended up grabbing the end of a belt. The end of a belt was dangling, and rather than actually grabbing the flags, and so when I grabbed the belt and the person kept moving, the belt just ripped across my hand. So think of like a like a carpet burn almost, but just
A
nice and
thick paper cut.
yeah. Anyway, so it just excavated a good portion out of my finger, and so it's really neat to see how my finger is coming back exactly the way it was.
Warren just randomly cuts his fingers now.
It was open. It was so open that there's no way that you can stitch something like that. You're taking like a big chunk out of a finger, and now it's growing back up into exactly the way it was before. It's pretty neat to think
Yeah.
about.
That's
How
crazy.
the human body
Yeah.
can do something like that, but then you also start thinking, well, what if you like chop off a limb and then it doesn't grow back? Well, obviously, but it's like, oh, that's just an interesting difference.
You know, I still find really interesting. Golden Retriever's been bred to not like fully bite on you. Yet once maybe a month, I'll bite my tongue or inner cheek. I can't get around it.
I fail to see how a golden retriever is
What?
bred for that.
No, like Golden Retrievers, I think it was, they don't actually clamp down and bite most people.
Okay,
No.
I would love to see, like, just take a day in your head and see how your transfer of knowledge is just like, you know who's a really cool character, but is sort of related to, like, stag beetles? Is Iron Man. I don't know. They're just super neat and similar.
Stag beetles, that's cool.
Yeah.
So Sean,
Yeah,
what we're
there's
trying
some
to tell
breed
you
of
is-
dog
Hold
that
up,
just doesn't
hold up.
bite anymore. Like
No,
they'll
no.
put their mouth
So-
on you.
No, Sean.
I'm gonna look this
you
up
can't.
now.
You can't.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean.
You
I
can't
gotta
So,
look
genetically-
building up of Warren's belt excavation of his finger, do you guys have any hilarious scars from embarrassing injuries?
I do. I did mine. I injured myself right in front of a bunch of strangers, people that were in my building. So I worked at this old park where we recreated the past, and I worked in a woodworking shop. It's called coopering. It's like making barrels and like buckets, watertight containers and shit like that.
Coopering.
Yeah, it's super cool, super ancient trade that's now dead because we don't need them anymore. Anyway, I'm working on this plane, and if you can think of a carpenter's plane that you normally run across wood, imagine that plane flipped upside down and then put onto a 45-degree angle to then, instead of run it across the wood, you run small pieces of wood across the plane. So as I'm running this wood across the plane, you do this in order to create a specific angle. So basically, I'm running wood across a plane with my bare hands. Across a blade that's super sharp because we're taking off just like little slivers of wood to get that perfect angle so that the pieces will fit together to create this circle, right? Some visitors come in and they're talking and I'm just working. There's another guy in there too and he's answering some questions and I'm working away. Then they start asking me questions as I'm working and I don't like that because normally how it works is you take turns, right? The one guy, you take your turns. It wasn't my turn to talk, so he should have been fielding all the questions. So as I was working, I was answering these questions and then all of a sudden they asked me a question and I worked again and then all of a sudden my hand went boom and my fingers went upside down and I felt my middle finger bounce across the plane. Now the middle finger did not hit the plane, but what did was my pinky finger and the skin was started to be taken off just like a sliver, a shaving of wood. It was a shaving of skin. It didn't come all the way off though. It was a flap, so I was able to take the flap after I noticed it, put it back on top of the finger, and then go rinse it out with water. And I still have a gnarly scar, but it was just embarrassing because there were people in the building. I'm like, okay guys, I'm sorry, I got to deal with this. I got to go.
What about you, Sean? Anything involving a bulldog or...
Actually, yeah, there is a couple of things on here. And I did read it up. It's saying there are certain breeds that can be brought up to not...
Let's talk about embarrassing injuries.
Bite. Well, this has to do
brought
with
up
actually.
Means they're trained.
Yeah, I got it wrong, Warren. I was wrong. Is that something new? So when I was a kid, Chris can't keep himself together.
It's because we can't keep track of your train of thought, Sean. We're having multiple conversations with you at once.
So my family had a dog when I was really, really young, probably about 3 years old, and the dog was a big black lab.
Okay.
And since
was it a purebred?
I have no idea.
Was it trained to bite you or not bite down on you?
Well, see, this
was it bred to not bite you?
It was bred.
Thank you. This is the fun part of the story because I guess since I was so small,
You bit your cheek? Sorry, okay. Because you were so small, the black lab, they thought...
No, that was good. Thank you. The black lab actually started grabbing me and biting me and dragging me around the house as its play toy.
Oh, no.
Was it biting you or was it biting your clothing?
It was biting me.
Oh, cool. Where was it biting you?
It would typically, if it was going to grab me, it'd try and grab me behind the neck.
So this happened more than once?
Yeah. My parents, well, at first they didn't really know what was going on. They just find me crying.
Yeah.
And
so the dog was moving you.
That's horrible. I'm the 3-year-old child's crying because he's getting viciously attacked by a dog. And your first reaction is to laugh?
Because I pictured you as like 12 years old.
Just in the corner crying. Okay.
Also, you turned out fine, Sean.
I don't know. That's arguable. So...
On the plus side, you got a nice thick hide on the back of your neck.
So I guess after a little while, they did notice that the dog was dragging me around. They immediately got rid of it, and we got another dog after that. So I don't have any scars from it anymore. Apparently, when I was younger, I don't know how to describe it. I had a lot of skin that was peeling off the back of me, and I had to go to the doctor a lot for it. And after that, all the scars on my back were gone. It was the weirdest thing.
Well, you're probably young enough when you get injuries or when you have injuries at a younger age, your body has more time and can put more energy into healing something like that.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when you have a scar that's intensive at a younger age, it'll go away faster. Plus, your perception of time when you're younger to when you're older is very different for understanding how long scars are actually staying on your body. Right?
And it could have just been like it was a couple of scratches that just healed up really quickly. But the one scar I do have is the one on my arm right here, if you guys can see that.
Where's right here, Sean?
On the other side where you can't
on his left elbow for all of those.
Yes.
Yeah, let's remember that we're not a video.
Oh, yeah. So that was when I was skateboarding outside my parents' house. I slipped and fell and scraped my elbow across the ground down to where you could pretty much see the bone. And I walked inside. I was holding the blood dripping out of my arm. And for my dad, my mom starts freaking out, goes to call an ambulance. My dad just says, "Go back outside. You're getting blood on the carpet."
Nice.
What about you, Alex?
My most embarrassing scar actually happened while I was alone, but it happened in an area that everyone can see. Right across my middle finger and my ring finger on my left hand, I sliced them open with a steak knife cutting frozen chocolate. it was like a month after Easter, and I was cutting one of those chocolate eggs, but it wouldn't break because it was so hard, and I slipped with the knife. And so you walk around and everyone goes, "Oh, what happened to your finger?" You try to come up with hilarious lies like, "Oh yeah, I fought a bear," stupid things like that. But I had sliced it with cutting chocolate.
You're right. That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
I've nearly sliced myself multiple times, not against an egg, but like one of those big 2-pound chocolate bunnies.
Yeah.
I can remember.
That's what it was.
Oh, yeah. Those things, the chocolate just doesn't want to go sometimes. Yeah. Now you know that you put the blade on top, and then you just pound the top of the blade, right? Yeah.
Or you just let it thaw.
No. I don't think you.
But I want chocolate now. That's the problem here.
Thank you, Alex. Yes.
I want cake now.
What about you, Warren?
My most embarrassing scar, I guess, is on my knee. I guess I've got a couple stitches where I was climbing. You guys know those yellow slides that you climb up, and it's just a slide. It's about a story tall, and then it circles down.
Yeah,
it just is a little spiral down, and they're always yellow. I was climbing up one when I was a kid, and my cousin was right ahead of me. And I swear, and I don't know if I remember this correctly, but right at the top of the ladder, I ended up looking up, and she kicked me in the face. But that's how I remember it. Yeah. Anyway, I fell down, and there was a rock at the bottom, and I landed knee first on the rock. And so I ended up... And it was a good thing because the hospital was at the top of the hill, so we just walked to the hospital and I got stitches. But that's my most embarrassing scar, I suppose. I have a small one on my hand where I burnt it with hot glue gun. It's not as embarrassing though, I guess.
Nah.
I used to have one across my chest because I was an idiot. First thing in the morning, my mom was making croissants, but she was out on the deck.
Whoa, say that again.
Croissants?
Oh.
Croissant.
Holy shit.
So
that wasn't planned, by the way.
There were croissants in the oven, and she's like, "Oh, take them out." I was like, "All right, fine." So here I am, no shirt on. I grabbed one oven mitt because I was half asleep. I opened up the door with my other hand. I go to reach in to grab the pan. For whatever reason, I remember. I took it out and I was holding it, and then all of a sudden there was a bunch of stuff on the top of the stove where I normally put the pan. But I was
all
stupid.
Of a sudden, like this stuff just appeared there.
It was there because I didn't see it before. I mean, like, fuck, I'm a kid, right? Probably 13 years old, just trying to think for myself for once. And then so I was like, okay, well, I should move it with my other hand. So I closed the oven door, and then I went to move it with my other hand, but something happened, and I was stupid, and I needed to brace the pan against something. So I braced it against myself, and it had just come out of the oven. So then I have like this big red mark right across my abdomen there.
Did you save the croissant?
Yeah, they were fun. I actually put it on myself. Didn't realize for probably like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, and I swore. Normally I don't, right?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Well, my mom, bless her, she's like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I was stupid." She's like, "Okay, don't be stupid." Sorry, that was probably like the stupidest one.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really Groot.
I walked into a door one time. I felt so stupid. I literally laughed at myself after going, "Ouch!" So the way it worked was I was walking through a doorway, but I was coming on it at an angle, the same angle as how the door opens up. And so what I had to do is I had to take my left hand and swing the door open so that I can walk out the doorway. Well, when you swing your left hand forward, that generally happens when you also swing your right foot forward. And so I step with my right foot, put out my left hand, push the door open, but I step too far with my right foot, so it bounces off my foot and comes right back at center. And by this time I hadn't realized and was already walking with my second foot and then walked straight into the edge of the door. It wasn't like the flat side of the door, it was the actual thin part of the door. And it hit me right down just the side of my face, like right where my eyeball is. And it was just boom, straight on there, and I was like, whoa, that was dumb.
I remember back in high school one time, this would have been freshman year, grade 9, and I was coming into class after lunch. It was a math class, and it was one of those classrooms where it has a door on one side, and front and back of the classroom. Well, what I didn't realize when I walked in was a guy blew past me. One of my classmates blew past me running in, and I thought he was like late handing an assignment or something. I didn't really know, eh? So I walk in, I close the door behind me, and then bam, right behind me, a girl ran into the door. I guess what had happened was that they were running between the two doors because he had taken her diary or her journal or something. Oh. So he was still running, blew past me, and then I closed the door immediately, and it just timed perfectly where she just like face planted and bounced off.
And was it one of those doors that had like a glass pane inside?
Oh yeah, you saw everything.
So you just like
watched her rattle off, yeah.
Oh man. Today's selfless, shameless terrible segue intro brought to you by laughter and stories of our past. Make sure you check us out at doubleshotofawesome.com, or send us a tweet at 2shotofawesome on Twitter. There, we're on the Twitter. That was 2shotofawesome, and doubleshotofawesome.com. Definitely be sure to check us out, guys.
Yeah. So, have you guys? Did you guys ever watch Firefly? I think
no, but
No.
I've watched parts of it.
My sister's told me to watch it a bunch of times.
Yeah, many times to
I
watch
would
it.
strongly suggest watching it. I don't want to build up the hype because everybody does hype that show up way too much. It's good and it's worth the watch. A couple of cast members that were in there, notably the captain and the pilot, just put out a Indiegogo campaign for a new series where they basically play themselves after the show has been canceled, going to like comic book conventions. It actually looks really funny and interesting. So I was just wondering if you guys ever had like any Indiegogo campaigns or any Kickstarters that you would try and promote or want to talk about?
I thought about promoting the Mega Man one, where the original creator of Mega Man was making Mighty Number 9, but then I didn't. So I thought about it and I was like, the payoff's not there. I'll actually buy it. I'll support it if it's actually produced, because it has enough backing already to be produced, right? I find it interesting that more and more people are using Kickstarter programs for other things, though. And one that I heard about just through CBC Radio most recently was parents were having Kickstarters put up onto like whatever those crowdfunding things are, so that the other parents could donate to their child's birthday party. So shit like that starting to happen with crowdfunding, because like this person, says bill came, taxes are here. I don't know what their reasoning is. We don't have the money. Somebody lost their job, right?
Is this regarding that story down south where the mother sent out a bunch of birthday invitations to the kids' class and then nobody came?
No,
that was
I did
a
not
sweet
hear about
story,
that,
actually.
That sounds way more interesting.
Yeah, so she sent out a bunch of. I think her son is mentally disabled, I believe. I can't remember with what.
I only caught it on the radio. I didn't actually have any context.
Anyway, so she sent out birthday party invites to his whole class and their parents. Nobody came. Super sad, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I think she posted on Facebook, not to like, be like, oh, help my son, poor thing kind of thing, but it just went up, but basically the city just rallied around her, and they had firefighters come out bringing fire trucks, dressed him up, and he got to like hang out in the fire truck. The police force came out, brought in some squad cars. The friggin' army came out, brought in not tanks, but the armored transports. All these cool different things. I think even athletes came out or something along those lines, and really made this child's birthday really, really special. And all because she just posted, like nobody, how sad kind of thing. She wasn't looking for anything, but
just kind of caught fire.
Yeah, which is really, really heartwarming to hear and to see. And there's pictures from it, and so you can really see like how happy the child was after. That would not, especially for the parents. How much trouble you have to go through for planning out a birthday party only for no one to show up. That's sad for you, but mostly sad for your child.
Yeah, the hard part isn't the planning, the setting up, but watching your child go through that torment, disappointment. Right?
Yeah, and then you also have to think about what happens at school.
Yeah,
if nobody.
Yeah.
came here. What is school like for you?
So I thought you guys were talking about the kid who could not go to his friend's birthday party, and the mother of the friend sent an invoice to this kid's mother, saying like, okay, now you owe us $50 because you didn't show up to the birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, so now there's a cost attached because you said you're going to come. But that was my thing. Is like you'd think somebody would RSVP and say that they would come or something, right?
Yeah, that was part of the argument, right? Like, because none of them
RSVP
even bothered to say that they weren't going to go.
Oh.
But also, I mean, maybe in the invites there wasn't an RSVP option. It's just like, hey, come on out to this. Maybe, you know,
Yeah.
we don't know how it was organized, right? But it's still, you know, it's just interesting the things that people have to go through.
So when they rallied, was it like immediately or was it like days after kind of thing? Do
I'm
you know?
not really certain. I think it was the next day. I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
Might be a story worth checking out then.
Yeah, I read into it a little bit, but nothing major.
But on that note, I'm Sean.
I'm Warren.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Alex. And this has been a double shot of awesome.
Happy Pi Day, everybody.
Pie.